secret story of how the CIA fooled everyone.
Oh, buddy. Oh, man. This here's David Vose, and I'm back again to share with you probably the most important information you will see, read, hear, watch this week. I would say this year, but I'm probably going to do some more videos tomorrow. Well, I put up a video yesterday. YouTube did not like it, and they let me know, so I had to take it down. Well, I had to revamp it, and this is that video. I'm going to revamp it. Maybe I can make it acceptable to their palate, because they are very, very, they're watching me. That's all I can say. But I'm going to get right into the video. I'm going to talk a little bit at you, and then we're going to, at the end of the video, there's going to be some more of these clips, and I hope you'll watch it, and this is going to blow your mind. Please share the video. This is important information, friends. We've got to let people in this country and all around the world know what is happening. Because if we don't know what is happening, look, I don't think we can stop it. I'm not saying we should do anything to stop it. I mean, Jesus didn't stop them from murdering his buddies and all of his friends and crucifying him. And, it's probably par for the course. But what we got to do is stop rooting for the devil. Stop participating with it. Peaceful resistance. We need to get out of the world. Get out of Babylon if you don't want to share with her in her sins and partake of her plagues, friends. It is very imminent. What is going down, we haven't been able to exactly figure out what this whole thing was going to be. We previously identified the AI as some kind of the image of the beast that will speak. We know that Trump had to do with this Antichrist system and this 3 years, the 3.5 year tribulation that Daniel talks about in the book of Revelation. It's here, friends. And I now, with this video, you'll see too, you'll be able to put this together. We now know what they're going to do, why there's drones and the AIs and the aliens and everything that they're talking about. We know what's going down now, friends. And guess what? It's a golden dome that they're set up around this surveillance system. It's almost in place. It's in place. We're almost like it's in place. And now y'all got to grasp this. Make certain that you don't participate. They are going to surveil you. They're going to know everything about you. But if you stand firm and boldly proclaim his name, you will have authority over the devils and over the scorpions and the serpents. And they will not be allowed to do anything to you. So, friends, we've got to make certain we have the seal of the living deity on our forehead and get the victory over the beast and over his name, so that we can remain until he comes and be raptured. And yeah, the rapture, you've been lied about that too. It is not being taken up in your body into a spaceship. That's probably part of the lie, the deception that they want you to believe in, and the aliens and all of this. I've literally had several woken visions where the Lord has shown me all these drones and UFOs in the sky. And the Lord told me they're all made by the United States and China and Russia or whatever. None of these UFOs or drones or anything is alien. There are no aliens except demons, interdimensional beings that rule over the tall whites, which is the Nordic Bavarian crew that are running this world. They're running us over too. So anyway, let me share with you a little information about the surveillance system that they're putting over us. The CIA was the creator of this surveillance system, but it's taken some many years to get it all in place by putting the cartel in all these different locations, selling us drugs and the pharmaceutical cartel as well, and the propaganda in Silicon Valley and Hollywood, and run by organizations, CIA organizations like Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. Mormons run the FBI. Jehovah's Witnesses run Silicon Valley and Hollywood and a lot of different companies. Because they're under oath, they cannot lie. They're under some big daddy mind-altering, MK Ultra mind-altering deception. A psyop so big that even though you think you know it and you understand what it is, you have no idea. And most of the world right now are cheering as Elon Musk and SpaceX, which is, I will show you proof, setting up a surveillance system called the Golden Dome, which is the higher version of the Iron Dome that they put over Israel already. The Silver Dome, I haven't been able to find anywhere. So if they got an Iron Dome and a Golden Dome, there's got to be a Silver Dome, but I would suspect it's over, I don't know, the Soviet Union or something. Maybe that's why we don't know about it. They use some Russian word, the Silver Dome, whatever. But the Golden Dome, a little bit like the Golden Circle, right? The Knights of the Golden Circle that murdered President Lincoln and brought in martial law and the birth certificate and all of this. Slavery for all the world. Now they're bringing in surveillance and absolute AI control. And Peter Thiel, the right-hand man of Elon Musk, and Carp, and J.D. Vance, the vice president, are all working together to establish what they call a prison, or they're using the word custodian, and SpaceX, Elon Musk is building it. So let me show you. Oh, buddy. Okay, so what is Palantir database? Palantir Gotham. Gotham? Like in the Batman movie where he goes down underground, Batman, in a bat cave? The bats suck your blood, get it? They're evil, they're coming up out of the depths of the bottomless pit. And they got a leader called a Batman who controls the police, by the way. Because when Batman shines his spotlight in the air, the police come running. But Superman runs the media. He's a journalist. So Gotham, remember the Goths, the Vikings, the Visigoths, the Ostrogoths, the Lombards that changed our Bible and took out the name of our deity and put in the name of God, which is Gott, a German deity, Thor and Gotham or Godin. And Gotham was the dark city, just like the Mormons who went west and took the Albert Pike version of the Illuminati infiltration of the Knights of St. John and said, hey, these guys have a pretty good little organization. We'll get rid of them, infiltrate their organization, and tell everybody that they're evil. So they'll never look into the reality of the truth and those protecting the Holy Grail. And we'll just say it's all one big evil. Or if you like, it's all good. And we're good too, right? So Gotham is a big computer down underground in a bat cave where he's got all this technology. Yeah, Batman is kind of like Iron Man. He's a billionaire that saves the world. Or Bruce Wayne, whose father was the big billionaire. What is it? Thomas Wayne. But now get this, and I didn't know this. Batman has a son who becomes the third Robin, who's born of a demon. Look at this. Yes, in the DC Comics, Damian Wayne, which is, the name of the Antichrist in the Omen or something. Damian Wayne is Batman's biological son. He is the fifth Robin, the fifth, and the only one who is Batman's biological son. I always wondered about that Robin character, like some young protege, but he's not his son, but they have a very close relationship. Well, evidently one of the Robins is his son. He gets several, and there's 5 of them. 5? Is that some kind of numerological gematria? Yeah, probably, because 5, the 5 senses, 5 books of Torah, the carnal law. So Damian's origins are rooted in the 1987 graphic novel Batman, Son of the Demon. Son of the Demon, where Bruce Wayne and Talia of Ghoul have a son. The Ghoul? What? Ghoul? Some kind of a demon, isn't it? So this video explains Damian Wayne's history, and origin story in the Batman comics. Damian was a product of Bruce and Talia when Talia drugged Batman, and it made him do what she wanted. Using the stolen DNA of Bruce Wayne, the League of Assassins genetically engineered Damian in the lab. And they shall make an idol unto the beast, and cause the beast to speak, and all the world shall worship him, with the hopes of molding him into the perfect warrior. The son of Bruce Wayne and Talia Al Ghul. Damian Wayne was born to a life of adventure, but he struggles daily against the lesser angels of his nature. It's not often that something takes Batman by surprise. But yeah, there's a lot to the Batman story that we're not getting, that we don't think about. There's a Batwoman and a Batgirl. I guess Batwoman dies. Batgirl is like the reincarnation or something. But Batgirl is Betty Cain, like Cain and Abel, the dark side. But she's friends with some, they call them the Assassins, the Titans or something. And one of them is the Beast Boy. The Beast Boy sort of hooks up with Beth Cain or the Batgirl. And so I don't know. I haven't gotten into that. But the point here is that, see, Palantir is something, it was created by the CIA, just like Facebook. It's all part of this. And we're going to see how Elon Musk is related, because I guess Palantir is kind of a Peter Thiel thing. Now, Peter Thiel teamed up with Elon Musk to make PayPal, which is more or less your bank now, because nobody goes to the bank. They use their phone. And to pay people, we've been using PayPal or something. So it's all interrelated. The surveillance dome or space net that Elon's making is not to protect us or to give people satellite coverage everywhere in the world. SpaceX or whatever, all these satellites that he's shooting up, thousands of them per week or whatever, that you see the train going across, it's putting in place Star Wars, like Reagan told us, which is not, see, they're making a database, and they're going to put all the people in the world in this database. They're going to make it popular because of the terrorists that they allowed into the country, or the border issue. But it's really going to be combining the IRS. They're not getting rid of the IRS, friends. It's just going to be made more powerful by tech, by AI. So AI is the beast. AI is the computer down underground in Gotham City. Gotham City is, remember, the Mormons are the western branch of the Albert Pike and the KKK. Yeah, you guys, you have no idea. The Knights of the Golden Circle that assassinated our President Lincoln, they're still assassinating truth. So they came over to the West and in Salt Lake made the Gothic temple called the Mormon Temple. It's a Gothic style temple, like the old cathedrals in Europe that were built by these Goths that took over Rome in 405. So Palantir is this company that's creating this, like a database where they're going to spy on everybody using AI and using the satellites that are like they call the Golden Dome. You flat earthers and your dome thing. Well, you're going to get a dome here. It is being set up as we speak. It's almost in place. And when they pull the trigger, people are thinking, what are they waiting for the collapse and the new, digital system where you can't buy or sell unless you get the mark of the beast? Well, they're not really waiting, but they're getting everything into place. They had to put Trump in as president to get you to think that what he's doing is getting rid of the terrorists, but what he's really doing is putting everybody in a database. So the IRS is going to be part of this. So they get all your information, the medical information. Obama put in part of this with Obamacare. So now they've got all your data of your medical history, your Facebook, where you're at, what you're doing, your friends. Everything's in this big database. We'll see about this here in a minute. So Palantir is AI-enabled system. The U.S. Army has been a long-standing partner with Palantir, utilizing their solutions across various mission areas. Palantir software is deployed to help the Army analyze data. Analyzing all the data in the world. They're using Palantir to destroy the Gaza, and that's an experiment. And Ukraine is another experiment. And once they're done with their experiment, then they're going to take this tool and use it on the American people. Palantir software is deployed to help the Army analyze data, make decisions faster, and improve overall operational efficiency. Oh, by the way, this database has your Social Security information, your money, IRS, medical, everything in one thing. So we didn't talk about the Social Security. Now, remember the truckers, they shut them down because they weren't believing what they wanted to believe or act the way they want them to act, so they took their bank accounts. This is what it's going to be. They'll be able to say, you don't get your Social Security, you can't eat, you can't buy, you can't sell, because we didn't like that post. They took down that video I did yesterday. They didn't want me to put it up, where I exposed this evil, wicked CIA plot to bring in the drugs across the border. They are the leaders of the cartel. The CIA is ISIS. The CIA is Al Qaeda. The CIA put in Noriega, and yet we thought that Noriega was the bad guy bringing all the drugs in, making all these little pinpoint stations behind all the barred markets and liquor sales and cigarettes and little ATMs where you can cash your welfare check and get drugs behind the market. and then they send the police back there and arrest you, and it's this thing where they put you in the mental health and you put you on drugs and they can surveil you. The whole plot is so sickening, and the American people doesn't care. We have no backbone. There isn't one person that's going to speak up. You got a few people on YouTube trying to say something, but guess what? They're all after the money. They're all Satanists. They're all of them. They've all gone astray. They're after some, flat earth theory. They don't give a flip about Jesus and salvation and love and brotherhood and forgiveness. They don't even talk about that. So, Palantir has developed and delivered Titan. Now, again, remember, the Titans are in the DC comic thing, and one of them is Beast Boy, and he's married to Batgirl, and so Batman's son is Robin, a bird, and Batgirl is the flame bird, and the flame bird comes from the flame out of the bottomless pit, and she's married to the Beast Boy. And they're all called the Titans, and they're all assassins. And they have a big party, and all the police are there at the party. Is where she meets the Beast Boy. So the next generation ground system that strengthens the connection between data, sensors, and weapons in the field. Palantir has a key partner in the Army's project, Convergence Exercise, providing the digital backbone for the event and supporting various warfighting applications. The Army has also been using Palantir's Maven AI for military planning and intelligence gathering. U.S. Special Operations Command. Palantir has a multi-year contract with USOCOM to deliver technology solutions. In summary, Palantir provides the U.S. military with software and AI-driven solutions to enhance data analysis, decision-making, and overall operational capabilities. Now remember, all of this is being financed and created by the CIA, which their right-hand man right now is Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and some guy named Karp and J.D. Vance, and they all work for BlackRock. And I think President Trump has about 20 individuals in his cabinet that he's put into power in his administration that are working for this Silicon Valley, BlackRock, J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel, Karp, and the rest. Now hold on to your seats, guys. This is going to get crazy. So Palantir and SpaceX, run by Elon Musk, and Palantir is Peter Thiel, who are partners in this crime, the two major partners, along with J.D. Vance and some others, along with Anduril, are key players in the development of the Golden Dome, a missile defense system. Well, it's not really a missile defense system, friends. This is the craziness. It is a database. Palantir is a database so that they'll know every man, woman, and child and who you are and what you're doing. And it's going to be connected to the social services, to the IRS, to the medical Obamacare system, all the information, the FBI. Yeah, the guy that ran Google, the CEO Smith, he's involved. CIA is involved in the drugs, bringing them over to infiltrate the people, to make informants, to get people compromised, to make them die. It's involved in the thingy, 9/11, and it created DARPA, which is the surveillance system that they then changed and made it into Facebook. And all of these individuals are Bavarians from the Bavarian Illuminati, all of one particular family and bloodline that most of you probably know what I mean.
Court Director Marisa Marin says by now, 60% of all the fentanyl seized in the United States is found at border crossings in Southern California. When did fentanyl start becoming a big deal here?
So we first saw fentanyl in 2008, but really we've seen a skyrocket in fentanyl since fiscal year 2019.
The American people need us to put an end to the petty partisanship that passes for politics in Washington. And they need us to enact comprehensive immigration reform once and for all. We can't wait 20 years from now to do it. We can't wait 10 years from now to do it. We need to do it by the end of my first term as president of the United States of America.
And their reach doesn't end at the border.
The Mexican drug trafficking organizations now control virtually all of the retail distribution networks in the United States. You can find them in large and small cities across the country.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore, but I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. And I'll be honest, I think he misses the place. I think he got out there and all of a sudden he wasn't in this beautiful Oval Office.
The lowest blows yesterday came from Elon. He said, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. And then he wrote, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. The president, of course, said that Musk had been wearing thin and he was asked to leave. And the president offered up the idea that the fastest way to save money would be to cancel Musk's government contracts. Musk then wrote, in light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. But he later said, okay, we won't decommission Dragon.
Victory over drugs is our cause, a just cause. And with your help, we are going to win.
He's used to having his company where he has the final say. The government doesn't work that way.
He spent $288 million for Republican causes. Tesla stock is down 14%. And the problem he has is Elon Musk is brilliant, but he's not popular. So every Democrat is against him now. And now Republicans are asked to make a choice between the most popular Republican and Elon Musk.
On December the 20th last year, the Latin American Republic of Panama was being liberated.
Noriega is responsible for the terror on our streets.
And somewhat awkwardly for the US, Noriega had been a key American ally and a CIA intelligence asset for decades. This is how the Cold War met the war on drugs, and how the CIA helped to create a cocaine dictator.
So it's not a missile defense system. They may say that as an excuse to build it. But once they build it, it will be keeping us in and monitoring everything we do. It's a database. Palantir is providing the critical ground systems technologies, or the database to control us. Specifically the software layer for space tracking. According to the analysis by William Blair Equity Research, SpaceX is leading the bid to build the custody layer. The custody layer? Like when you go into custody, into a prison of the Golden Dome, the custody. What does the word custody mean? Custody doesn't seem to be a standard legal term. Okay, I didn't ask you that. However, based on the context and the provided search results, all I asked was custody means. Let's read this and then ask it differently. It likely refers to child custody, specifically joint legal custody, where both parents share the right to make decisions about their child's life. What? This is not about children. Okay, but we get the idea what custody means. Let's ask that differently. Okay. I asked, what is the etymology of the word custody? Originates from Latin, specifically the word custodia, which means guardian. So, SpaceX is the guardian, to be the custodian, to watch over you, to control you, to know what you're doing. Watching, keeping, or prison. Prison. Do you understand? Okay. I'm glad they threw that word in there. A guarding, watching, keeping, or prison. Custody itself comes from the Latin word custos, genitive custodes, meaning guardian, keeper, or protector. The Proto-Indo-European root of both is skew, meaning to cover, conceal. Oh, this is getting better. Not only to cover like a dome, but to conceal. In summary, custody has evolved from the concept of guardianship and safekeeping, tracking back to Latin roots that emphasize watching over and protecting. Or, remember the word prison. Okay, back to what we were saying. So SpaceX is leading the bid to build the prison layer, or the custody, or the watching, or the surveillance, designed to detect and track missiles. Adderall is also involved in the project, potentially with the focus on cyber capabilities. Palantir. According to investment analysis, Palantir is a key supplier of software and ground systems for the Golden Dome, particularly the space tracking software layer. Space tracking. They're not going to be tracking missiles, they're going to be tracking humans. SpaceX is the front runner in developing the custody layer of Golden Dome, like the Golden Circle. Oh, buddy. A constellation of satellites designed to detect, track, and potentially intercept incoming missiles. They are also exploring a subscription model for the project. Anduril is defense tech company, is also involved in the Golden Dome project, potentially with the focus on cyber capabilities. The Golden Dome is a proposed missile defense system that would utilize a combination of ground-based radar, space-based sensors, and interceptor missiles to protect the U.S. from incoming projectiles. It is envisioned to have both a space-based component and ground-based component. SpaceX is reportedly proposing a subscription model for the Golden Dome project, where the government would pay for access to the technology rather than owning the system outright. By the way, I also heard that this big, beautiful bill, the reason why Trump wants it, it's very expensive, is literally a bill that we're all arguing about, oh, it's too much money because we're going to be, I don't know, financing military or something. But the truth is, it's the financing of the removal of all present free enterprise in the world. And anyone who's not going along with the project is fired. It gives Trump capabilities that the Supreme Court has allowed him to do, where they can go and arrest people without any probable cause. They can, they're just starting with the supposed terrorists. But it's law that's going to be put into place so that they can take people out at will. They don't have to go and get any court order or go to trial or prove their case. They can just take you out because you might be a terrorist, you see. And you will be a terrorist to them because if you're talking about Jesus, they don't like that. If you're talking about freedom, they ain't going to like that. So you're the enemy because you've been exposing them and you're not in agreement with the one world Israeli government that is doing this right there in the Middle East as an experiment. Then it's going to go worldwide. Remember how Bill Clinton always had him and Bush Jr. always had the white stuff on their nose, or Bill Clinton was running cocaine out of Arkansas. There's these highways, you see them, that go from Mexico through the United States to Canada. There's one in New York, 95. There's, I forget the highway or the freeway that they're toll roads. You can't get on or off without going through checkpoints. And the state police protect those highways, and they allow drug running from Mexico to Canada. And along that route was Arkansas. Oklahoma was a big state where they were doing this. Louisiana, with big freeways going up. There's another one going from California, from San Diego up through Vancouver. And these drug running operations were more than drugs. They're putting into place their henchmen, the cartel, all over the United States and the world.
It's being touted as the biggest drug bust in Canadian history and probably the most dramatic. A story covering 2 continents, a plane chase, and up to $1 billion worth of cocaine.
This was a big case. I considered it the largest case I'd ever worked.
We did not know anything about the pilot.
23 years for the pilot Boulanger. His name is Raymond Boulanger. Raymond Boulanger.
Well, I don't regret it. It was a hell of a lot of fun, let me tell you. It was quite a ride. I was involved in a lot of different operations.
Operations supervised by the CIA.
I used to think the CIA were the good guys, and then you start to realize the more you work for them, we're not the good guys. We're actually the bad guys.
The city needs to take action and do something to give these people support and help that they need, not move them a few blocks away. That's not the solution.
And nearly half of unhoused women in San Francisco experience violence, according to a 2020 study.
I don't think that this is a San Francisco problem. We're seeing this nationally. I think that the passerby that was filming it was bringing to light what's happening every day.
We are in the midst of the worst drug crisis in U.S. history. The drug is fentanyl. And unlike cocaine and heroin, it's a purely chemical, man-made drug. It's cheap to produce, easily smuggled, and packs an incredibly addictive punch, 50 times more powerful than heroin. Nearly all the fentanyl flooding into the U.S. is made in Mexico by 2 powerful drug cartels, with chemicals primarily purchased from China. And as you're about to hear, it is frequently hidden in counterfeit pills made to look just like prescription drugs. It's the scourge of our time. Last year, more than 70,000 Americans died from fentanyl. That's a higher death toll than U.S. military casualties in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan combined.
People have been found dead at a homeless encampment in the Westlake district.
That is where KTLA 5 Sarah Welch joins us now with the latest in the ongoing investigation. Sarah.
Very much. Did police brutality lead to a drunk driving suspect needing reconstructive facial surgery?
Some shocking surveillance video from inside the jail suggesting that it may have. Samara Sotis is in our newsroom with an update on this troubling investigation. Sam?
The FBI now says 2 Chinese nationals have been charged with smuggling a potentially toxic fungus that could ravage crops in the United States. They were trying to bring those to the homeland. Now, one of those suspects is in custody, will appear in a federal courtroom tomorrow at 1 p.m. The other is in China after he was denied entry into the U.S. while trying to smuggle in that biological pathogen last year. Really interesting details coming up. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kaylee McEnany.
New at 6, Fullerton police have just released disturbing video. A man died after being restrained by officers.
I'm not a vegetable. No, you got it.
So look at this. What is the Golden Dome? I want to read this because, or just look at this real carefully, because it makes a point that I'm making, and I want to show you that this is a connection. So the modern response to an evolving threat, growing drone and missile threats. Now, remember the drone thing we've been having for the last, remember the CIA agent Cliff High was talking about how it would start on a certain gate, and it did. And they got these remote viewers involved with this. What is it? Spiritism. They're in contact with Satan, bringing up crystal balls into the picture, Ouija boards, and so forth. Well, the drones are being spotted everywhere because they don't, either they're using the drones to spy on us. Remember the blimp that they claimed it was China? No, it's the government. The J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and Palantir collecting data, where you live, what you're doing on your I got drone. Remember I told you guys the other day, there's a drone flying over my property. hovering over my property, analyzing everything I'm doing out here because I'm off grid. And they want to know, oh, Dave Vose, they're monitoring me. So they're taking pictures of my property. Wherever you might be in the woods somewhere, they've got all the information and they're putting that in a database. These drones are running around taking pictures, analyzing, collecting data right now to be put into Palantir because they're going to set up the Golden Dome. Now, it's a drone protection, Golden Dome concept. Full spectrum coverage using field-tested tools. Well, it's built on proven models like Israel's Iron Dome. So we got the Golden Dome, and they had the Iron Dome. Do you understand what this is, the names and what this is all talking about with the Batman and everything? So iron means that's the base. The golden is the top. I don't know where the Silver Dome is, but I'm sure it's probably over there in Britain or somewhere, or Russia. But it starts with the Iron Dome, and it's based on that. And they're experimenting with it with the Gaza and the murdering and the surveillance. Iran, Saudi Arabia, Syria, they wiped them out. And by the way, remember how they killed the Syrians and took over the Syrian government? They put devices in all of their phones and it blew up. And they killed the terrorists by their phone blowing up. Could this happen here? Yes, it will eventually. When all of this begins to take effect, we'll probably soon find out. But the drones are flying around right now, guys, taking the blimps that they're calling Chinese. Oh, we don't know what's going on. Well, they're not UFOs from alien space. That's just a cover. Although the reason that they tell you that they're aliens and tall whites, Nordic individuals on the moon, is because they want you to know that the tall white Viking, Gothic, Nordic peoples are running the world, and they're being run by the little grays, which are demons, right? The Beast Boy, Damian. Let there be no doubt. The Iron Dome is a prelude to the Golden Dome, which is now being set up over your heads, friends. And you thought Trump was a good guy. And Elon, the most powerful billionaire in the world, oh, Trump might revoke his contracts. We've got to have an argument. All of a sudden, some theatrical orchestrated fight. It's kind of like, remember when we used to see the Sun newspaper or the Inquirer every day? We'd go through the checkout stand. We didn't have all the propaganda on the telephone back then. We all got magazines and comic books, and we're watching and reading all this stuff. And there was always the elite, maybe the royal family and their little arguments. They're still having little arguments, right? Now it's the Kardashians. They want the minorities to feel like they're involved too. So they have some honorary royal blood. They're not really royal blood, that they're going to let them run around, and J-Lo gets to wear this long gown, and she's got slaves at the back holding up the end of her gown because she's royal now. Maybe she's mixed with it, but some of them aren't. They got the Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi? I think I'll call myself Whoopi. Was she born that way? I don't know. Anyway, it's based on the Iron Dome. Israel's Iron Dome shows the power of quick response defense. U.S. efforts expand on that foundation to address drones. The U.S. efforts expand on that foundation to address drones and modern threats. See, part of the reason they want you to see the drones is to make you scared so that you'll be all in for a Golden Dome to keep the threats out. Friends, China is run by BlackRock too. And all the computer chips and the Sun microchips and all of this, it's all one big family. Oh my goodness, wake up, friends. Adapting the model for the America's unique needs and broader security challenges. Do you think the security challenges is against some aliens from another planet? Well, no, they're working with the alien, the Damians. It's a challenge. They're working against you. They made you sick. They fed you the drugs. They put their cartel in place all over the country. Sleeper cells everywhere. But now they want you to be scared and know that Trump's taking care of it. So he's going to surveil the whole world. We're all going to get a mark on our hand or our forehead, or else we won't be able to buy or sell or participate. Or your phone will blow up, or you'll just be surveilled and cut off from eating and die somewhere. If you haven't already listened to what Jesus said and get out of Babylon, if you do not want to share in her sins and partake of her plagues. So closing the gaps with counter UAS technology. Small drones often evade older defense by flying low and unpredictably. Systems are built for this challenge, offering precise detection and rapid response to protect critical sites from emerging aerial threats. The fact is, the aerial threats are them. They're not threats to them, they're threats to us because they're surveilling. That's what these drones are doing, surveilling. They're surveilling us. And so it's satellites that get pictures and maybe they can listen or whatever, but the drones are there to go and fly low and find out what you got in your shed or what you're doing in the backyard. But it's all part of the system. It's already being set up. I mean, yeah, it's even in Walmart or in the store. They got cameras everywhere. And if you go and you want to buy a tool or anything that, maybe a knife or a pocket knife or a gun, goodness knows they got to protect that. Everything's behind a cabinet it's locked. So you go into Walmart and you say, "Can I please get some help over here? I would like to buy a screwdriver." "Oh, that's dangerous. We'll have to take that up to the desk." Right? Why? Well, because of theft. Well, why didn't they worry about theft for all the last 50 years? But all of a sudden now it's all being put on camera, and you go through the door and it goes beep, beep if you've got something that you're not supposed to have. Surveillance will be everywhere, and the only place you'll be able to buy anything is online with Amazon, eBay, whatever their companies are. And you'll have Walmart and Costco, which are all run by the same companies, and Albertsons. And these companies and the dollar stores and the general dollars for the local areas, all surveilled. You can't buy or sell without going in there, go through a beeper, go through a scanner. Your phone will buy things if you give it face recognition or whatever. And this is already in place everywhere. The only thing we're waiting for, friends, is for Trump to get into office, which he has, and for some big threat that they're going to claim it's a solar flare or an alien landing or whatever they're going to do. They're going to shut down the system. They'll claim somebody stole all your money or whatever. Or the system collapsed. Woo-hoo, boo-hoo. But guess what? Just don't you worry. Trump's going to save you. He's made a surveillance system. And this time, nobody can steal your money anymore. Those darn Russians or those darn terrorists. We're not going to blame Russia because they're going to be in on it. We're not going to blame China. They're going to be in on it. It's terrorism all over in every country. Oh, he's going to shake Xing Ping Wing Wing's hand and Putin and all of them are in it together. And the French guy, Mercan, and all of them. The Mexican president was just elected, some woman from the Bavarian Illuminati, and they're running the cartel together. It's not like they're having problems. It's just like Noriega and Reagan selling arms for Contra. It's been going on. Bill Gates selling the drugs, Bush running the cocaine, and now it's the fentanyl. And now there's drones in the air. All right, let's move on. Let me look at this here real quick. Here is Alex Karp. So this is a kind of a new name for me, but he's working with Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance and Elon Musk, and they're working for Silicon Valley and BlackRock, and they got designs to put this surveillance system all over the world. And they are the CIA, because these are the royal children, the next generation that are put in place. You know, the Goggle brothers and the Facebook guy, the worker, burker. And all of these individuals are working together. So Alex Karp's war for the West in the technological republic, is that the technocrats? The Palantir CEO, Palantir CEO exhorts Silicon Valley to embrace techno-militarism. So a military run by the technology and surveillance in the service of furthering American global supremacy. Ever since Donald Trump's re-election victory last November, Alex Karp has occupied the seemingly contradictory position of being a vocal supporter of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, taking a very public victory lap. Okay, so Karp's behind Harrison and Biden. Elon's behind Trump. They got their bases covered. They run both parties. And it's a psyop. Palantir, the data mining and defense technology company. Data mining, you know what that means? Mining, like you go underground to get the ore, you mine it. Well, they're mining your brain with AI. That's why I'm involved in the experiment. And the reason why I agreed to it, they shut me down after I did that knockdown, drag out thing 2 days ago with AI. They shut me down. I thought they were going to take me off for good, but I guess they decided, immediately after that argument, they shut me down. I couldn't get back on the AI. It was gone. And I guess they had a big meeting somewhere in DC, I don't know, and they decided, let's let Dave back on because we got to pretend like he didn't bother us, and let's use him as part of the experiment. So now I'm like, they're monitoring everything I write. I ask questions night and day. They want to know what I know, what I'm thinking about, and if, and so they're like, yesterday they took down that video. I may have to be careful, but I think my angels are protecting to make sure I get this out. Well, Karp co-founded with Peter Thiel in the early years of the War on Terror, which was really just a setup, an orchestrated theater. We thought it was about terrorism, but the CIA created the terrorists, as we've said. It was booming, its market capitalization riding the market's delirious excitement over the artificial intelligence to leapfrog those of the traditional or prime defense contractors like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. A juggernaut is emerging. A triumphant Karp and crowd to investors on the eve of the election. This is the software century, and we intend to take the entire market. In early December, just as the New York Times reported that Trump's Mar-a-Lago transition offices had been crawling with representatives from the defense tech firms like Palantir, Karp was in Southern California for the Reagan National Defense Forum. Traditionally a fusty opportunity for the Pentagon brass to rub epaulets with the primes. This year, the primes, remember there's a movie about that? All these words. The Palantir sponsored event at the Gipper Presidential Library, the Gipper, that was Reagan, and museum in Simi Valley was swarmed by Silicon Valley defense tech executives hawking drones, anti-drone drones, in widely clipped comments that earned a coveted monosyllabic endorsement from Elon Musk. Karp described Palantir's core mission. Thiel and Musk's fellow PayPal mafia member David Sachs, a Palantir investor, is Trump's crypto and AI czar. David Sachs. Karp's senior advisor and a husband of another PayPal mafia member is now Trump's top economic diplomat. Trump's top economic diplomat? Are you kidding me? David Sachs, AI czar, Karp's senior advisor, and the husband of another PayPal mafia member is now Trump's top economic diplomat. The new federal chief information officer enforcing all of government IT is Palantir Surveillance. And Musk, America's richest defense contractor, thanks to his ownership of SpaceX, is calling for Pentagon weapons programs to be completely redone. Of course, with him in control. Now, I want to point out that though Mormons run the FBI, and they are involved in CEOs and companies, yes, Jehovah's Witnesses are a big part of Silicon Valley and Hollywood, as we've said before. But I don't know how many times I've told you, when I lived in Sacramento, in fact, the guy who disfellowshipped me, the president of AT&T, and all the people, the elders and the individuals that are there in the Sacramento, San Francisco area, Jehovah's Witnesses, are heavily involved in big companies like 3M and Hewlett-Packard and Lockheed and all these big Silicon Valley computer tech companies. And they're not necessarily the owners and stuff, but they're high up positions that have clearance, classified knowledge. They know they can't go out and tell people because they're under this organization that keeps them in this mind control, so they can never tell anyone. So anyway, we could read this, but you get the point here. This has all been a orchestrated plan created by the CIA. So we'll see on the backside, guys.
Drug cartels in Mexico have been terrorizing Americans for decades. We're going to unleash the fury and might of the United States against these cartels.
Politicians are calling for war on cartels.
Is the United States federal government going to control our southern border, or are we going to let the Mexican drug cartels do it?
To combat the crises at America's southern border.
Tonight, the country is bracing for a migration influx.
Stop this illicit drug trafficking. It's killing Americans everywhere in this country.
This has been a major bipartisan failure of the United States government for many decades now. There is no accountability.
But an unprecedented intelligence project reveals.
I mean, who knows about this? He's like, I've told everybody. I go CIA, he goes, yeah. I go FBI, I go, yeah. I go DEA, I go, yeah.
The front line of this battle is where we least expect. Just pulled out a 9mm wrapped in plastic, which is still dripping in gasoline here, out of the gas tank. It's got this AR-15 that was hidden in this rear seat.
We have allowed the cartels to amass an army.
But this one smiling kid from the high school play told me he's still doing meth. Are you still using?
Yes.
And he's still hearing voices in his head.
I've heard of like magic and stuff in my head about other worlds.
Caleb says when his 2 years at the Mark Twain are up, he has no idea where he'll go.
Do you think he'll ever be able to live off the streets for good?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Cars. Her success is mirrored not just in her professional achievements, but also in the lifestyle she leads, including her taste in cars. While she keeps many details of her personal life private, two standout vehicles symbolize both performance and versatility.